Five, four, three, two, one.
Welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, November 12th, 2021. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, a Troy University student is going where no Trojan has gone before. Claudia Peppenhorst introduces to the student whose future military career is making some Troy history.
Jalen Ray, a Troy University senior and Air Force ROTC member, has just become the first cadet from the university to be selected for the Space Force. In January of this year, cadets from Troy had the opportunity to apply to the Space Force through a nomination process. The previous commander of Detachment 017 nominated Ray, who recently received the news that he was selected.
It is kind of emotional to think about because of all the work I put in the past 4 years leading up to this moment. Just training here at this DET to be a leader essentially for any job I was open to, but to find out for space and knowing this is brand new for the U.S., it's pretty emotional to think about.
Ray will be working with space operations, where he will monitor satellites in orbit and ensure commercial and militarized assets are safe in orbit. Lieutenant Colonel Erin Dunnigan, the current commander of Detachment 017, says she believes many will follow in Ray's footsteps since they can now see that going into the Space Force is achievable with hard work and determination.
I think it's something that he gets to leave behind as being the first for Troy University. It's something that someone is going to look forward and want to be the second and the third, and he can be that mentor as well as someone that can be looked up to as going into the Space Force.
Ray's entire family has been in the Army, but he decided to join Troy's Air Force ROTC program. However, with the recent nomination, he will be breaking family tradition even more by moving forward with a career in the Space Force.
My whole entire family has been Army, with grandparents and grandparents before that. Everyone has joined the Army since the Vietnam War, so me going to the Space Force is just huge excitement for everyone.
With the announcement of his new position and accomplished goal, Ray hopes to encourage and mentor not only those who want to go Space Force, but anyone with a dream.
If you have a goal in mind, just plan around that goal and accomplish as much as possible to get to that goal. So whatever it takes, you study as hard as you can, you work on your physical fitness, and you do whatever it takes, talk to whoever to achieve that goal.
After graduation, Ray will spend time with his family and friends while he waits to hear his base assignment. Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University has a long history of preparing students to go into the field of nursing. However, now there's a new program that's giving future students interested in nursing a guaranteed pathway into Troy's program. Mackenzie Foster has the details.
Troy University's nursing department is implementing a new early acceptance program for prospective nursing students. The new program allows for college freshmen who meet certain requirements the opportunity for admission into the early acceptance program. With the university's nursing program being competitive, the new program allows for the highly qualified students to have a better chance of getting in.
It helps them to kind of pave that pathway early on. So what we found is we have currently coming into our program this spring, we have 9 students who were accepted through the early admissions program.
Although college freshmen are able to join the program, it is also available for high school seniors. For any high school senior that has already been accepted to Troy and has a minimum of a 3.5 GPA on the 4.0 scale with a score of 25 on the ACT is qualified to apply for early admission to the program.
And so it takes that guesswork out for them, as a high school senior that's looking for a university to attend. If you know you want to do nursing, it gives you that advantage of knowing that you will actually be able to come into the nursing program and have that guaranteed seat.
The early admission application starts on November 1st through December 15th for high school seniors. For college freshmen, the early admission application starts on May 1st through June 15th of 2022. For any prospective nursing students that would like to learn more information about the program, can visit www.troy.edu/nursing. Mackenzie Foster, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Troy University is home to an extensive catalog of plant life from across the Southeast in the Herbarium, located in the Math and Science Complex. Thousands of examples are in storage, but as Caroline Gerhardt shows us, due to a new addition, there's room for a lot more.
While it might not look like it at first glance, the Herbarium at Troy University is home to thousands upon thousands of plants that are preserved and stored for study and research.
The herbarium consists of about 52,000 specimens of both vascular and non-vascular plants, and vascular plants are the typical plants that people think of, and non-vascular plants are things like mosses and liverworts and lichens, and they are preserved, identified, and labeled and stored here in the collection.
The plants in the herbarium are stored in these large moving compactors, which have allowed for more plants to be added to the facility as well as more effective organization.
We recently received a grant from the National Science Foundation, which has allowed us to purchase these compactors, which has basically doubled the space that we have available for our specimens in the same amount of actual physical space that we already had.
While new species are being discovered and cataloged every day, one might be surprised to hear how old some of the plants in the facility actually are.
We have plants here that were collected in the 1890s and 1880s, and they're from there all the way up to today.
Student volunteers have the opportunity to enter plant species information into an internet database, all the while learning to understand the importance of plants and what they have to offer.
Even though plants don't move and they're not crazy like animals and all this kind of stuff, they have a lot of information that's really valuable to the public, and I think it's really important that we learn a little bit more about them and educate people about it.
The database of the herbarium is available online through the Troy University website. Caroline Gerhardt, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll see how the Sound of the South is adjusting to being back on the field this season for football games. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
After having to spend a season in the stands due to COVID-19, the Sound of the South is back on the turf of Veterans Memorial Stadium for pregame and halftime for football games this season. Anthony Thomas takes a look at what this means for the program.
We really want to see the student body have as much fun and make as many memories as possible, and especially with this year being fun in 21.
Fun in 21. And after a year of unexpected changes due to COVID-19, the Sound of the South plans to do just that. Last year, many dealt with COVID and cultural unrest, but for Troy University band members, they dealt with not being able to march on the field for pregame and halftime activities.
Well, it was difficult, but I tell you what, the flexibility of the students made it really work well.
This year, the band is back marching on its home turf and has performed in 5 exhibitions since the start of the football season. Dr. Walker says a return to the field is a return to normalcy for the Sound of the South.
Oh, it was great. It was like Christmas. You know, it was, I never thought that I would miss not marching like I did. But it was remarkable how much I missed it. And I think the rest of the band did too. I think it was unexpected. And when we got back on the field for our first game, it's like, oh man, we're home. This is great.
And although things continue to change, Dr. Walker says the Sound of the South experience is still the same, if not better.
This year has been a great year, honestly. Even though it was disappointing last year when we didn't get to be on the field, it's not just about twirling, it's also about the friends that you make and the people that you're in band with. We're like one big family.
Now with things back how they used to be, Dr. Walker and Kaylee say they both cannot wait to march in this year's homecoming parade. Anthony Thomas, Troy, TrojanVision News.
College can be stressful. There are any number of things in a college student's life that can contribute. So to help relieve some of that stress, Trojan Outreach gave students a chance to recognize and eliminate some of those stressful items. Emily Clegg shows us how.
On Wednesday, Troy University's Trojan Outreach brought their Black Hole Project to the main quad, asking students to take things that stress them out and throw them away into a black hole.
We're asking students to come in and we have like little note cards, and we ask them to write it down and just write down things that's kind of like stresses them out a little bit. And so after that, they throw it away, and the symbolism of them throwing it away is them acknowledging the fact that they're stressed about it and them throwing it away, trying their best not to stress about it anymore or have time management to not be stressed about that anymore.
Now every month, Trojan Outreach has a new theme. For the month of November, their theme is stress relief.
Stress is a very high factor on college campuses with college students dealing with different finances, classes, getting things done outside of like the college campus. So I really feel like this month is a very important topic to discuss on college campuses because not many people really talk about it and not many people know how to properly deal with it. And so that's the point of Trojan Outreach having this as this month for representation of it.
One student who participated says the event opened her eyes to the stressors in her life.
I honestly feel like I have a lot more stresses than I thought I did. I thought that I recently just let go of a lot, but it's like I continue to have stresses all the time, and I just realized how much I am stressed. But after doing this, it made me realize what all I kind of need to focus on, and not even just focus on, but just kind of like chill out with. So I think this is important to kind of take a deeper look into what's going on mentally and emotionally and stuff.
Trojan Outreach will continue their stress relief efforts with the Stress is Rough event outside the Trojan Center on Wednesday. Emily Clegg, Troy, TrojanVision News.
It was a celebration of historic significance on Sunday as a local attraction known for its history celebrated a big milestone. The Pioneer Museum of Alabama celebrated 50 years of providing a look into the past for visitors. Kaylee Wright gives us a look.
2021 marks the 50th anniversary of the Pioneer Museum of Alabama, and the museum celebrated this milestone. There was food, music, and a lot of Pike County history under one roof. The mayor of Troy, Jason Reeves, came out to show his support. He said that the Pioneer Museum of Alabama is a staple piece to the city of Troy.
It's really the gateway into town. It's really, as you're coming into Troy on 231, if you're coming from the north, it's the first thing you see. And it's a big part of our heritage.
And while the 50th anniversary of the Pioneer Museum of Alabama is an important milestone for the museum itself, it is also an important event for Pike County. Reeves added that December 17th will be the 200th anniversary of Pike County and that the original settlers were pioneers who came to Pike County along the Three Notch Trail. He also said that knowing our history is necessary for our future.
I think you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been.
The Pioneer Museum of Alabama allows visitors to step back into a simpler time and learn about the lifestyles and trends of generations long gone. According to the director of the museum, Barbara Tatum, the museum was established by a group of individuals who wanted to preserve artifacts that were frozen in time.
It was founded by Mr. Curran Farmer and several citizens. The story I'm told, he was riding through the county, he saw a bunch of rusty farm equipment and came back to town and said, we need to preserve this for future generations.
The museum includes several log cabins, a chapel, a one-room schoolhouse, and a vintage general store. Tatum said that there is one item in the museum that is older than Pike County itself.
There is a quilt that's been dated to 1774, 1775, I'm told. It's the Passmore quilt. That family was actually in South Carolina when the quilt was made, but they moved to Pike County, and then it was subsequently donated.
Kaylee Wright, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, the Trojan football team won the annual Battle for the Belt. We'll have the highlights right after this, so stay tuned.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
Mama. Mama. Say mama. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm almost 2 now and still not responding. That's one sign of a communication disorder, and delaying treatment can affect my development.
Many parents aren't aware of the early signs of speech, language, and hearing disorders, yet early detection and treatment can improve quality of life.
Say dada.
Ugh, here we go.
Identify the signs of communication disorders.
The championship belt is staying in Troy after the Trojan football team claimed their 4th straight victory in the annual Battle for the Belt. Jacqueline Lambert has the highlights.
After a close battle with the South Alabama Jaguars, the belt will stay with the Troy Trojans for yet another year.
The Trojans, coming off of a loss to Coastal Carolina and looking to bounce back, came out in the first half with a slow start, but as the half progressed, the Trojans picked up the pace.
In the first quarter, the Trojans took the lead thanks to a 3-yard touchdown run by Jamontez Woods in the last minutes of the quarter. In the second, not only would Woods score again, but this time wide receiver Tez Johnson would take the ball 31 yards to the end zone. But on the defensive side of the ball, KJ Robertson would intercept a pass and take it back for a touchdown before the half was over.
You know, I thought we got off to a great start, really all the way around, offensively, defensively, and special teams, and really, the exception of the last 2.5 minutes, played really a great first half.
The Jaguars, however, got some life before halftime when the Trojan defense allowed a touchdown with almost 1.5 minutes left in the second quarter.
And, you know, as a coach, you've been doing this for almost, 25 years now, and you're always looking for those little moments that maybe you don't handle something right, your team doesn't, that gives those guys hope and momentum, and that's exactly what happened.
And of course, it would not be a regular game day in the Vet without the Trojans giving football fans a heart attack. The Jags would ride their momentum into the third quarter when they scored another touchdown and making a field goal in the fourth to make it a 1-score game.
Finish the game, finish strong. It's going to come down to the last drive. So as long as you have everybody on the same page, I know we can come out with this win.
And like many times before, the fate of the game rested on the defense, who stepped up big on a 4th down play with 1 minute and 29 seconds remaining on the clock, clinching the Battle of the Belt for the 4th consecutive season.
And my motto is the belt is never going to leave home, which is Troy.
The Trojan basketball season tipped off Tuesday night with what turned out to be a decisive win for the Trojan women. But as Josiah Berry shows us, it didn't start out that way.
The Trojans had a slow start in their 101-81 victory of the Talladega Tornadoes, but the energy from the crowd and tough coaching kept the Trojans in the game.
I was really nervous about this game because it was Talladega, who is a very good team. It was their 6th game. It was our first game, and we have so many new players. I knew it was going to take us a minute to get our feet under us.
The Trojans would trail the Tornadoes for the entire first half and would go into the second half trailing by 3 points. But with some player adjustments and Amber Leggett leading the charge, the Trojans found themselves in the driver's seat.
She was just competing, and she kept getting her fingertips on the ball, and then she kept getting fired up. And in the huddles, she was just putting her foot down with her teammates and saying, "We have to do this. We have to get this next stop, or we have to get this score." And her determination was it was contagious, and it was encouraging.
Amber Leggett had a monster game with her first double-double of the season with 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. Leggett helped in establishing what Troy basketball is all about.
Got into the locker room and realized what type of team this is. The coaches and the returners built the whole atmosphere of a championship, practicing, championship effort, and that's what we came out and did. We put it together and we handled business.
Troy would outscore Talladega by 23 points in the third and fourth quarter, which helped them cruise to a season opener win. The Trojans' next opponent is Florida A&M, and they will play that game on the 11th. Josiah Berry, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And the Trojan men's basketball team joined the 100-point club Tuesday night as well with a big win of their own to open the season. DeAndre Larkin has the highlights.
Every time you turn around, buckets, buckets, and buckets. The Trojans men's basketball team opened up their season against Carver last night in Trojan Arena. Carver got off to a bit of a stumbling start, but managed to score while the Trojans executed their game plan and scored 104 points on the board.
So every single player on our roster scored. That was a great feeling. But I thought we played great defense. It started with Cody Dean, the way he got the ball in the paint and created shots. For him to have 9 assists and 1 turnover, that's phenomenal. That's what you want out of your point guard. Zay Williams played about as good of a basketball game as we could hope for. Effie Odeji showed what he was capable of doing with his back to the basket. But, I mean, I could go on and on. I think our guys played about as good a game as we could have hoped for a first game out.
Zay Williams, leading in rebounds and field goals, is one of the top 3 double scorers of the night with just 13 points.
Every day it's physical. Like every day we practice it. Like the intensity of practice, like defensively, offensively, like we used to it. We want to do the same thing, like pressure the ball, be there on help, rebound. That's something we can do better, rebounding, and offensively just keep moving the ball and get better shots.
Zay Williams was not the only one rebounding and making buckets. Transfer freshman Duke Dean made his debut with the Trojans with a game-high 9 assists and 5 steals.
I was a little anxious, kind of nervous. I don't want to say nervous, but you know the nerves were there. You know, first Division I game coming from JUCO. It was a lot of fun though. I feel like I handled the pressure well. Oh man, I loved it. I ain't had to do too much. I just passed them the ball, let them shoot.
The former location of MacArthur Hall will soon be home to Troy University's Center for Materials and Manufacturing Sciences. We'll learn more about the new facility in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Government on here to talk about the Center for Materials and Manufacturing Sciences, their new facility coming up here shortly. Thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And here we've had you here before talking a little bit about what this center is all about, but bring you back because we're prompted by the creation of your new home. The MacArthur Hall has just been torn down, and you're going to have a new facility that's going to take its place. First off, how excited are you about the fact that you're getting this new facility?
So we're very excited. We're ready to move. So we have been retrofitting labs. We have more instruments than we have space for. So we absolutely look forward to modern, very specific labs and a building full of labs.
Full of labs.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into the building, let's give folks a background who don't know what the center is all about. Kind of give us an idea of what this center is about and what it's going to mean for the university.
The center itself is called the Center for Materials and Manufacturing Sciences, but we primarily focus on plastics, particularly recycling of plastics. So when you talk about recycling of plastics, there are many moving parts to this. So there's an aspect of chemical recycling, there's mechanical recycling, there's processing. So there are various different kinds of labs. So, and all of these labs will have a different purpose, will have a different look, will have different requirements in terms of venting, noise cancellation, air conditioning, and soundproofing, and so on and so forth.
And so this brand new building, and we're going to get a look at it here. We got some artist renderings that we have a chance so we can see what it is, and we've got them up there right now, and you can see what this building is going to look like, and just your impressions, and tell us about what we're seeing here, what we're going to see in this building.
So to the right immediately, you'll see a maker space where we'll actually process new plastics. It's a beautiful building, and it's a new effort for Troy University. It's like nothing else we've done before. It's completely a whole building dedicated to research.
And research, and that's one of the main things. This is a changes kind of a new direction for the university because it's so research based, and there's a lot of elements in here that is, I guess, breaking new ground for the university when it comes to research and academics here.
We absolutely are. For the first time, for example, we have a lab technician whose full-time job is simply to maintain and calibrate instruments. So in the past, faculty members have done it as part of their duties or release time and whatnot, but this is a dedicated position just to maintain equipment. In addition, for the first time, I believe, for Troy University, we're getting postdoctoral candidates. So about 4 of them to begin with, 9 to 5, all they do, including summer, is come here and do research. No teaching, just research.
Just research. So all of that research going on, that breaking new ground, new things here. But once again, this facility, this brand new facility being made just for that. And you mentioned there, you talked about labs. Let's talk about like some of the things you're going to see, these labs and some of these spaces that are going to be so integral to how this whole center is going to work.
So one of the equipment we have is atomic force microscopy. So the level of resolution is just unparalleled. So we can see layers of molecules. We have NMR, a nuclear magnetic resonance machine. So again, it takes fantastic images. It takes tens of thousands of dollars just to power the equipment up. So anytime we have to power down, there's a cost involved in powering it up. So these are very expensive machines to maintain.
And here's another question. So what is I know there's a lot of research in this, what is the level of student interaction with what's going to be going on in the facility?
And here we do exactly what Troy does all along. We invite students from day one. So they will be involved in every aspect of what we do. They can take courses, research courses for credit. If they don't need credit, they can just still continue to work with us. So we go out of the way. We, in fact, have funding for this as well, but we go out of the way to include students at every step.
And of course, this is something that's only going to progress in the field, the business, that getting out there. If students are involved in this and learning it from here, plastics are going to be around, and what we're going to do with plastics is going to be something that's going to make them eligible for work for probably many years to come.
Oh yes, oh yes. So they'll be very highly employable. This will be a flagship opportunity for, flagship institution for the university.
And now, what are we looking at timeline? When do you think you're going to move in? Because I know you're itching to move in, but I know it doesn't just go up overnight.
So we're hoping late 22 if possible, or early 23. 2023.
So a chance for that to get in. I know you're eager to get across the quad there.
No, I think it's very likely. I think people have been working. So this is an effort by a large group of people, starting from Dr. Hawkins. General Gavan's team has been very instrumental. So we work on a regular basis. We fight hard. We lobby with the right group of people. So it's a joint effort. So when we do things collaboratively, there's only room for success.
And I know until then, I know you're probably walking by the hole that once was MacArthur and just thinking about where your new office is going to be.
I am glad to see the hole and the fence around it. So I know something else is going to come up there. Dr. Hawkins is not going to allow a hole to exist in the middle of the campus for too long.
All right, well, Govind, thanks for stopping by and giving us this update on the center, and cannot wait to see the new facility right there on the main quad here at Troy University. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you, Aaron.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30, Monday through Friday. Or you can visit us anytime on the Troy TrojanVision News blog at today.troy.edu/TrojanVision to see online from content from Troy TrojanVision News anytime. And until next time, have a good week.